Hi, welcome. This is Disassembled, your official podcast for the Big Glasgow comic book page. I am your host, Ian, and I am losing my headset. Massimo's here.
Hello, guys.
Ben is here.
Ahoy, hoy.
Dan is here.
I am here.
Today there's 4 of us, and we know that's weird, but we're excited for it. We decided, we've been limiting it to 3 people because we all like to talk over each other like a bunch of assholes. But I think we're better at that now. So God damn it.
Why not start as a minute going?
Bring the whole episode. So we're gonna give this a shot, especially because we have a lot to talk about, and so this is probably gonna be 2 hours. So settle the fuck in. Oh, good. We're just past the minute mark, and I said, okay, so YouTube, we can still monetize this if suddenly 1 million people watch on YouTube, which definitely isn't gonna happen. Do us a wee favor. Do us a little favor. I say we because everyone else here is Scottish, but not me. Do us a wee favor.
You sound like
disclosure. I've slept about 3 hours. Do us a favor and like and subscribe to the videos so that we can show you more videos, so that we feel good about ourselves and we think that people like us.
You sound like all of our aunties.
Oh, geez, Rick. You know, I've got pretty low self-esteem, man.
My aunt is Justin Roiland.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, my aunt is a PBS 30-year-old boy. Is that?
Yeah, that's
It's
got
some
for you. Yeah.
time shenanigans, man. Time is weird.
Weird.
Back to the future past. Today is yesterday's tomorrow that you worried about a month ago. This is why I'm anxious every day. Anyway, so check it out. Here's what we're doing. Today, we're going to talk about video game remasters and remakes that we and you and also other people would like to see. And then we're going to talk about news that is new that you didn't know about before right now. And then finally, we're going to talk about Loki. And if we have time, we'll talk about other things, but we won't, so don't worry about it.
Yes.
You just go... I think we're better. I think I'm better at this when I don't think about it too much.
I think
Just why you do this.
So look, we all know that video, especially E3. By the way, we're gonna have another separate episode that's reactions to E3. I'm not gonna be in that one because I didn't have shit to say about E3. It's just gonna be Dan, Massimo, and Ben. Also because I have a desperate need to sleep after this. I'll just say this now. Nintendo announced a Metroid, and that's all I wanted, but it's not Metroid Prime 4, so fuck you. Buy your stupid handheld console hybrid. Whatever, Miyamoto. Anyways, so we know video game companies now just love to pander to nostalgia. There's been 1 billion remakes and remasters and whatever, thrown together. It's ranged everywhere from the really good, like the Spyro and the Crash remakes and the Tony Hawk remakes, to really bad, like the Tony Hawk remake that's not the one I'm talking about, from like a decade ago, that was really bad.
Yeah.
So we put out the call to see what people wanted, like if you could have any video game remastered or remade, to clarify, because I guess we weren't very clear, either or. It's not.
I think we also said
Content.
that. Yeah, if it had a remaster recently, it could still have a remake.
Yeah, I mean, it would be pointless, kind of, but that's video game companies love to put out pointless shit that you'll buy. So,
Mate, they're already remaking The Last of Us.
Oh man,
Super Mario 3D All Stars. You can only buy it until March. I have like 40 copies of it at work. I'm gonna buy them and resell them for higher profit and get rich.
And we're probably going to buy Skyrim for PS5 eventually. So,
and everyone's gonna buy the Skyward Sword remake on the Switch, even though that's like the least loved Zelda game, because everyone is so desperate for Zelda content that we're all gonna go full revisionist history and pretend we like that game.
Oh god.
All right.
Have we got the...
I'm cranky.
You are cranky.
All right. So first, we're gonna go through a couple of the. I have the Facebook. I have the Twitters.
Let's go for it.
I checked YouTube, and only one guy commented on last week's video, and it was about Digimon, and it had nothing to do with that question. So, Digimon's cool. Thanks for commenting. I never played any of the Digimon games, but like maybe a couple of those would be cool. I don't know, man.
There's Digimon games.
There's been a
For the PlayStation
shit ton
1,
of Digimon games, dude.
Hmm.
There's been so many. I've
seen
never played
2
any of
episodes
them.
the show.
I liked this show a lot as a child.
Mhm.
I also liked Pokemon. You don't have to choose. You can live in both
Yeah.
worlds. They're actually very different things.
Yeah.
So we have a few answers on Facebook that I'm pretty fond. Did you guys read the Facebook answers?
Yeah.
Initially, yeah.
Are there any ones that really stuck out to you?
I mean, Legacy of Kain's a given,
Yeah.
and Soul Reaver.
That was
Yeah.
actually
we
the
need
one.
Steven-
we need a remake
Stephen
of that.
Miller said Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Richard McIntosh said Earthbound. I think that's probably a pretty popular answer. I think honestly people would be happy if they just re-released Earthbound. I don't think they even care about a remaster.
Somebody else said the Silent Hill games, but it was Kev McGee. He also pointed out though that the last time they remastered the Silent Hill games for PS3, it somehow looked worse than it did in 1999. They somehow made it look worse.
There's a whole story about that. So yeah, there was a re-release remaster, HD remaster of Silent Hill 2, 3, and I think 4. Was 4 included in that package?
I don't remember, but I think it was a trilogy. So yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because the first one wasn't in it, which I think remastering the first one, which they kind of did with Shattered Memories, but not really. So I think the first one would be the best one there. But that remaster show, what happened is Konami, guess what, are idiots.
Of course.
Surprise. And didn't save any of, like, they only had some of the source code. A lot of the assets weren't. Basically, they didn't have the shit that the people needed to make a proper remaster, and so they had to cobble the whole damn thing together. There's a really great What Happened episode about it with Matt McMuscles. Look it up on YouTube. He explains it better than I'm going to with more time than I have. So look that up. Shout out to Matt McMuscles. You the man. You the MVP. Unless you're 616 Entertainment, then you the MVP. Anyways.
Jamie McGee said Dino Crisis, and I totally can see, like, they've already got the Resident Evil engine that they've done the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes in.
That would be cool.
Do a Dino
Be in
Crisis.
that.
There's a bunch of
I
people
think,
when Dino Crisis came out too. Andy
Like
Torrance
that,
and Stephen
Andy
Allen
Torrance
McAllister.
also said that. Yeah. Steven,
Yeah.
McAllister.
Yeah.
Stuart Smith says Horace goes skiing. Okay.
What?
All right. Sure. You know what? I don't know if that's actually a game. I think he might just be trolling. Nope. Horace Goes Skiing is a game for the ZX Spectrum.
Yeah, see, he's not a troll. He's just really, really cool.
Oh,
Exactly,
it's ski free. It's ski free.
Ah, nice.
yeah. Oh.
Hell yeah, I want a ski free remake. Good
What
shout.
is it? Was it,
Fantastic. Good job,
Wholesome.
Stuart.
another one, obviously, that's kind of come up a lot is AJ Clark says Time Splitters
Time.
is kind of due a remaster. Or
Well, they are
remake,
coming out with
I
a
guess.
new one, so I
Yeah.
mean, maybe we'll see that.
If that goes the Fortnite route, though, we can
I
look for a
will-
remaster.
See, the thing is that, like, I don't know, I could imagine it doing what, like, if it goes like an actual linear story game, it could do what Wolfenstein did, which was have a full, like, kind of remake, kind of remaster kind of thing, or kind of sequel game, but then have the other levels of the older games hidden inside the actual game.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Kind of
that'd be
cool
cool.
arcade style kind of thing, so you can replay the old
you
levels of the
you
game.
lay down and you take a nap, and then you have
Yeah.
a nightmare, and you're playing old time splitters.
Exactly.
That was really cool in Wolfenstein. That was
It's a really cool
Yeah.
idea.
that took me off guard, honestly. A few
Some-
people pointed out Simpsons Hit and Run,
Mm.
Yeah, that's one of me.
which I think we'll talk more about that in a bit.
Yeah.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. SpiderMan for PS1. Somebody mentioned that in the comic book group I shared us in. There was actually a rumour a couple of months ago about that being remastered, which I reported on the website, so I'll link that below. So yeah, that could happen, and that was a great game. I loved that.
Was
Game.
that the
that. I really
A lot of nostalgia for that game, man.
was that the one where you
I
would,
really like that
you,
game.
you would swing from the sky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had Doc Ock chasing you down the vent at the end.
Oh yeah, we spoke about that actually. It's terrifying.
Yeah. People really like that game. I have fond memories of that game because I played it a bunch while I was in the hospital when I was a kid.
Ah,
and
nice.
it
Not
was
nice,
I mean, it served its purpose, and I've played it plenty of times since then. I played it recently, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Nostalgia is a powerful thing.
Nostalgia is a powerful thing. Let's talk about our nostalgia.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go in order of, well, mostly in order of how people are listed in our little Google Doc here. I'm gonna go last, so that's the only thing that'll be out of order. But first, let's start with Massimo. Tell me about your greatest, wildest wishes and dreams.
Okay, so for me personally, we've already mentioned it. It's already come up. Kind of pretty common one, pretty normal one. Is obviously Simpsons Hit and Run. I remember playing that game a lot when I was younger on the PS2. Phenomenal game. Like everyone obviously would say, it's like the GTA but for kids. It is a lot more funnier. And when you look back, you play it, a lot of the mechanics still hold up, and even the jokes that they make in it, and the story. I guess it's not really a story; it's a Simpsons game. I mean, it has this weird thing with aliens and zombies and giant robot Tyrannosaurus Rex, the demolition derbies, and giant spying bees, and the government and Mr. Buzz.
The government, yeah,
the government.
The government.
It's a very funny game. There's loads of references to obviously the better seasons of the Simpsons because of when it came out. Where that would change in a
government,
a remaster or remake. When they say to remake it, because Dan, I think you mentioned a rumor when we were on the E3 podcast about the guy who what was his position on the original game? Was he the creator?
I don't know. I think as far as I know, he was one of the lead developers, but I don't know if he was like the lead. Yeah. But he's now working for a company that Disney own, and he kind of half teased something in an interview that could have been an old remake of something, and he was like Simpsons. But
it's definitely on the cards. I mean, people have a lot of nostalgia, as we said. It's a very powerful thing. A lot of love for that game, and I feel like if they were to bring that back, it'd be a massive moneymaker for Disney.
Well, and you know what? If we're not going to get a Grand Theft Auto 6 anytime in the near future because Rockstar would rather re-release Grand Theft Auto 5 18 times on every console from now till the end of forever.
Money. It's fine.
Then let's get a Simpsons Hit and Run. I would even take a sequel.
Yeah.
Simpsons Hit and Drive.
Hit and Drive. Drive and Fly.
Simpsons Pedestrian Go Splat.
Simpsons Homer's Big Day Out.
Simpsons Simp means a different thing now, and it's going to ruin Simpsons.
Simpsons
Punching
Bart's Ferris Bartler's Day Off.
Yeah, that's almost like a South Park game.
Yeah, no, it does. So then my other kind of options I have, one of them is very comic book based. I've got two comic book based, but one I want to focus on, because I have like Web of Shadows, which I really enjoyed, which is one of those games that you got to play as Venom and Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff. Really good game, solid game. I don't know if it would necessarily work with obviously now because of rights and stuff like that as a whole issue.
Yeah. I mean, this is like fantasy casting for remasters. So I mean, let's pretend we're living in a fun, fuzzy world where no one gives a shit about copyright laws.
Yeah. I think it would be a fun game to remaster, especially with a morality system like that was
nice.
Quite like it was quite basic back then, but see now since games have done it a lot better, it would be quite an interesting concept to actually do it and fleshed out in an interesting way.
Here would be my one request in a remaster or remake for that game. Different Spider-Man voice actor. That guy was insufferable.
Yeah.
Mary Jane!
You better keep in the Wolverine trivia stuff.
That was great.
It's phenomenal.
I mean, that was... I still have Web of Shadows installed on my PC. I play it every so often. Like, there was so much that game did that was a first for a Spider-Man game. That was really cool. Being able to switch at will to the symbiote suit, that was great. Having a bunch of other Marvel characters to interact with because it wasn't based on the movie franchise was really good. The only other Spider-Man game to really do that in large effect at the time, I will talk about in a bit. The mid-air combat.
Yeah. The thing that was as well was that it with the games like Prototype and Infamous and stuff coming out, those games solidified the whole kind of like switching between power sets and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
having differences. And if they were to remaster it and build it from the ground up, you could have some really entertaining, interesting things from having the symbiote suit and having the normal Spider-Man.
I think if you remaster Web of Shadows, so Spider-Man, the Marvel Spider-Man, the PS4/5 one. The combat in that is very much based on like Arkham Asylum type stuff, like everything else these days. I think if you do a Web of Shadows remake or remaster, because of the way, I think I would go full remake with that one because of the way that the combat worked in that game with like the midair stuff and switching between powers. I think you make the combat in that more Devil May Cry style. I think you make it faster. You make it
more chaotic.
More chaotic. Yeah, like you really just go balls out, man.
Like that,
yeah.
I think.
What was the Spider-Man game? I want to say it's some Web of Time. Basically, it's different.
Shattered Dimensions.
Shattered Dimensions.
Edge of Time was the sequel they had for the game. Yeah,
I think with the Spider-Verse being a huge thing right now, I mean, it came out a bunch of years ago, but people are still raving about it. That could be a good thing to remaster.
Remake as well.
My thing with Spider-Man games, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot you can do, and there's a lot of different things you can explore, like, Web of Shadows. No Web of Shadows. Shattered Dimensions was something totally different. But I think with your kind of open world web slinging games, every time a new developer makes one, it kind of is a remake / spiritual successor to what came before.
I mean,
because we got Insomniac Spider-Man, and because they're obviously working on a sequel, that kind of scratches it for me. Do you know what I mean?
And that's why I would want, if they did a Web of Shadows remake, that's why I would want it to be a little different than the Insomniac Spider-Man. Because I mean, it's like Spider-Man is Spider-Man. If it is not like a wacky alternate universe Spider-Man like 2099 or something, it's gonna be Peter Parker. He's gonna swing around. He's gonna punch people. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's kind of this, as you said, the same formula being kind of reused and redone and redeveloped over and over again, Dan. So my last one, I do have one honorable mention that I'm going to mention but not go into. The last one I could talk about probably would be Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And it did have a remaster recently, but you can no longer get that game in a lot of places because it got removed off a lot of digital stores. A lot of physical copies are the only things available. And I feel like Ultimate Alliance 3 was okay, but those first two games that were kind of based off of like Civil War and based off the comic stuff like that, they fully remastered them, and you can have this like weird top-down kind of stuff, and you include all these Marvel properties, different suits, different characters, different kind of combo teams. It would be really interesting. I feel like it could be something that could kind of scratch that itch for a lot of people who maybe have for those games.
Think of the loot boxes.
Yeah.
Think of the paid loot boxes.
Think of the skins.
Let's milk it.
I don't know how you guys feel about that, or if you guys have any sort of experience with that game, but I just remember really fondly playing the second one, especially on the Xbox 360.
Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Alliance 2 were really well loved because they followed the formula of a couple games that came before them with X-Men Legends and X-Men Legends 2. It's basically the idea of that kind of almost Diablo-like 4-player, just pick whatever superhero you want and go to town, beat them up type thing. Like, that was a really great co-op game. And the remasters, I think they went back up.
They did, but then I think they went away again. I think they're due to come back up. It's like of course you could buy the remasters and stuff like that, but I would just like them to remake it so there's an actual version you could buy, apart from hoping that it comes on the store every now and again, and if you miss it, you won't be able to get it unless you buy it for like $80 or whatever, £80.
Yeah, Marvel is such a boondoggle when it comes to its video game licensing.
It's just the worst thing.
It's the reason we can't play Marvel vs. Capcom anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Is that completely...
Yeah.
Well, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or 2 at least. You can still play MVC 3 and MVC Infinite on things, but Infinite's garbage. 3 is alright. MVC 3 is alright, but like everyone wants Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's the one. That's where your curly mustache at. It's Wombo Combo. Like, you know what it is. But yeah, I liked Ultimate Alliance. That was a fun one.
I think it would work as well in a lot of the kind of things how like the MCU is kind of going towards this kind of team up attitude for a lot of stuff, well, the TV shows and stuff like that. And I feel like even that, like a remake, a remaster, even a sequel that's, because Ultimate Alliance 3 was okay. It was just alright. Like it was a Switch exclusive as well, which was a weird thing.
I was gonna say Ultimate Alliance's biggest problem is that it was a Switch exclusive.
So yeah, which I think obviously going to be a lot better. But like having like a remaster remake that like base it off of more contemporary stuff and have a bunch of comic stuff, but also team ups and MC. I think it would be really cool. But who knows? I don't know if we're ever in that anytime soon. My honorable mention one that I want to mention, but I don't think is going to get a lot of talk time, is a game that came out on the PS2, and I remember it very fondly, and it is called Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island, and it was this like co-op multiplayer game, but you were able to take on the control of a bunch of various Nick characters from obviously Nickelodeon. Sorry. Characters from a bunch of different properties, so like
so it's Nickelodeon Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a pattern here.
Yeah, it was like a really interesting thing, and I feel like we're missing a lot of stuff. Like the last one I can remember where they could have combined stuff together was like Sony All Stars and stuff like that, or kind of Smash Bros, or kind of those kind of things. Games like that where it incorporates all these different aspects of a wider property, and it can make it fun and entertaining. But I think that's just me.
These kind of larger party games.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, they remade that SpongeBob game, so who knows?
Yeah, Rehydrated.
Yeah, it's a pretty good remake too. I played it; it's fun.
Yeah, it's another one of those good ones. But yeah, no, I feel like for me personally, I feel like stuff that's a bit wacky, a bit out there, a bit interesting, and has all these different characters can be really good and fun. If people could look past like characters will be broken and all that kind of stuff,
right? Well, you gotta suspend your. We're talking about cartoons. Suspend your disbelief, like.
Exactly, but people are weird like that.
Don't be like Dan and be like, "Oh, it doesn't fit the tone. I don't like it."
It took me right out of Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
I saw a cat dog underwater, and I said, "No, with this."
And then he was also like, it wasn't violent enough, so like, oh god.
There's the blood.
I was waiting on a Patrick fatality.
Yeah, I was expecting a gaping chest wound in Squidward, but no.
Mr. Krabs does he snap and decapitate people. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah.
Finish him, SpongeBob.
Where were the jiggle physics?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Where's the Mr. Krabs jiggle physics? Yeah.
Yes.
No, not Sandy Cheeks. Exactly.
They don't call her Sandy Cheeks for nothing. Woo. Wait.
Oh god, here we go.
Wait, right. Yeah.
There it is.
There we go.
We have fun here.
That's my kind of list of stuff I can wrap up.
Well, those are fun, and I would play all of those, and I would give them 10 out of 10, just like I give you 10 out of 10. Massimo. I've
had that's how people pronounce my name when they don't hear me right the first time.
Well,
it happens a lot.
I will not call you that.
I had someone call me Martin once.
That's not even close to the same thing.
Yeah, he just couldn't pronounce my name. He was like, I just call you Martin. I'm like, all right.
Okay, Martin Castillo is your...
Well, there you go.
Shout out to something in an episode that no one heard because I edited it out like 2 months ago when I accidentally introduced Massimo as Massimo Castillo instead of Castelli.
Exactly.
Martin Castillo is your pseudonym, your screen name.
It's your symbiote.
It's my symbiote.
Yeah.
AKA Martin Castillo. Hey Ben.
Hey.
What video games do you want to make a new one of?
A big part of nostalgia for me was playing the Sly Cooper games growing up. They're just so stylized and everything that gaming has today. That's like, this game has this kind of mechanic, and this has this mechanic where you can do this, and it's like
in this game you can aim down the sights and shoot a dude.
Yeah, it's like Sly Cooper had it all, but it did it in like
In Sly Cooper, you could aim down the sights and shoot a dude.
Dude, yeah.
That's not what I
remember. Like it was like they did Sniper Elite before Sniper Elite. Yeah.
Wait, what? X-ray cam?
No, but like stuff like
was that the interquel Sly Cooper game I missed? Sly Cooper murders a dude.
Are you
Sly
talking
Cooper
about
Hitman crossover?
When you say Sniper Elite, are you talking about shooting Hitler in the balls, or are you talking about the slow motion?
Oh yeah, you shoot Bentley right in the balls.
Poor turtle.
Yeah, but no, it was so stylized, and like the voice acting was so good in it. The stories were so much fun as well, and this is going to be a running theme for all my picks. you just can't get them anymore. You need
Well-
to go back to like old consoles to get them now.
Am I not right in saying that what was it called? The Ratchet and
not-
Clank film came out in like 2017, I want to say,
Mhm.
and then they were planning a Sly Cooper film,
They
and I
brought
believe did it come out?
they brought out a trailer for it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it got cancelled, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it
And-
came out or not.
I think it got cancelled, and I think they were also planning a tie-in game,
Mhm.
like a remaster, like a remake, like they did with Ratchet and Clank, like a reboot,
Yeah,
and I think they both get cancelled.
They
it's a
did.
shame because they're so good.
They did a Sly Cooper trilogy remaster on the PS3, but that was back
over a
in
decade ago, right?
2011,
We need another remaster.
2010.
A remaster.
Yeah, so at this point, I'd say just remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
Just
that.
do it. Because
So-
I don't know.
Resident Evil 2 style kind of thing, when they can remake the game entirely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you can also get it on PS Now, so
So it's-
theoretically you could still play it.
Who pays for PS now, man?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not-
That's what I mean. It's like not readily accessible to a wider
Yeah,
audience.
it's not as
We-
easy to
you could
get.
probably
Yeah.
emulate it, right? Like, it's a way to
You could probably
emulate
do that,
other
yeah.
games, stuff like
Yeah,
that,
that is,
but-
yeah.
yeah, but it's
I
still-
mean, you can
still
definitely emulate the PS2 versions. The PS3 version, you can if you have a powerful enough PC to run RPSC3 or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
I don't.
Sorry,
go on.
Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say on that. It's just big nostalgia. It was
Were those,
ahead of its time.
Were those cell shaded? Those games? I
Yeah.
remember them. Yeah.
Very,
that's
very
something-
comic book games. I don't know if there has actually been like comic books of it. It would really
It
lend
must
itself
be.
to the style.
Yeah, that
Mm.
must.
That is. I feel like those games are from that era, that like PS2 era, where you had a bunch of kind of mascot platformers that were actually really good between
the
like
thing
Sly
that-
Cooper, Ratchet and Clank,
And another
Crash.
Jack and
Yeah.
Daxter, Crash. Well, PS2 was when Crash started to go down the shit.
I liked Wrath of Cortex.
Well,
That's fine,
you're
yeah.
you're the one then.
everyone can be wrong in their life, Dan.
You know, even a broken clock is
Listen.
wrong twice an hour.
Shut up, Dan.
Oh boy! Please continue and pull me out of this whirlpool of.
I was just going to say there's a quick wee tidbit. It was it's Sucker Punch that made Sly Cooper, and I
Yeah.
remember I've not played Ghost of Tsushima yet. I'm really waiting for I'm waiting for like a week where I can just go. I'm just going to binge this. But there's an Easter egg where you can get a Sly Cooper bandana, I think.
Yep, you can get the full outfit. You can get
Oh,
like
nice.
a blue vest and like a yellow coat and like it's obviously not, you don't look like Sly Cooper, but it's the same
imagine.
colours.
That's
You get a
fitting
trophy.
and
There's
makes
an
sense.
achievement for it.
I think
And
yeah.
in Infamous as well, you could do it too. You could
Yeah,
get a
yeah,
costume that was like in colours. And
I mean, that's the thing as well, that obviously Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch even going to be so focused on probably Ghost of Tsushima for a while that there's most likely not going to be a chance of a Sly Cooper remake.
But everybody's always calling for Naughty Dog to make a Crash remake, and then it's like, well, why? They can make a game like The Last of Us. Why would they go back to Crash?
Hand it off
Crash?
and
And then
And it's
someone
just-
else does
it's
a
the
Crash
same-
remake.
Exactly, it's the same with Sucker Punch. Like, I feel like they've moved on. Like, look at Ghost of Tsushima and how kind of epic and grand that game is. They don't need to go back to a platformer, but why not let another developer do it the way that we Crash?
Alright, mhm.
Well, you know, if Activision hadn't folded Vicarious Visions into Blizzard,
Just Activision being Activision, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about making that bottom line, making that dollar.
Remember all those great developers that are now making Call of Duty updates?
Oh man, don't even-
Yeah.
Sorry,
rest in
yeah,
peace,
Call of Duty's
Raven
great.
Software.
Sorry, I've just made it depressing. We were all happy there, and now we're all like,
Anyway.
"Ugh."
Damn it.
Back to nostalgia, man.
Yeah.
Pulls back in.
Yeah, okay.
Remember when
Here's the
Treyarch
stuff.
made Spider-Man games?
No. No one ever was that.
It never happened. Only
Treyarch
Call-
has only ever made Call of Duty.
only zombies.
Only
So,
zombies
segment-
till the end of time.
To bring us back up into happiness and bliss again, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Come on.
Isn't that due a remake soon?
There
There's
are
like a-
rumors.
There's
Yep, again, there's an
petition
article on the
for
website about it.
Yeah.
Jason Schreier was on a podcast or doing an interview, and he hinted towards it. And Schreier, as much as he's a bit of a pain in the arse, he's very rarely wrong.
Mhm.
So
What I will say is
He's out of
That's-
line, but he's right.
that's apparently going to be a remake, which I don't want. I want a remaster. like
Oh.
because they're apparently going to change a lot of the mechanics of the game, and I'm
I was going to say they would need to change all the
really-
controls
I
and
mean,
stuff.
oh, but
Yeah.
that's what makes it so good, though.
Is what
I
the
Those
inability
tank controls.
Yeah, his inability to walk.
I
loved
love this
it.
game because it plays like shit 20 years later.
Yeah, that's
Nah.
nostalgia.
They done it with Resident Evil, so they'll do the same. They'll change it up.
Could you
Bunch of
imagine
those.
the Resident Evil remake with the fucking tank controls of
Right.
the
Oh,
original
it'd be
one?
so good.
Just walking into the walls as Leon Kennedy's Mr. fucking X.
Masochistic then.
You're holding your controller this way, fucking try to jam it together to make it work.
But no,
I don't
just
like
like
that.
nah.
That's why you have it's give them like
I think
I'm out of breath. Give them options. The
Yeah.
Resident Evil remake,
Yeah.
remake. The
Remake,
first
yeah.
one of the remake that came out on like the Xbox 360 and Xbox One, maybe or something.
yeah,
You could do
sure.
tank controls or
Yes.
direct control with
Make
that
it
one.
make it a thing in the options. Just
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Stick-
I'd be
stick
happy
to
with
that.
Hey,
that.
do you
Keep
want to
it-
play
keep the graphics
KOTOR
as
like
well.
shit or in a way that's fun?
Yeah. What's the
Yeah,
thing
to me
with,
that's reversed. I don't want it to be
Exactly.
like modern mechanics. I want the old
Well,
stuff.
I mean,
So,
I didn't
yeah.
say which one was which. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
exactly. So that's why
Ben,
I'm
you're
saying
the
I'm right.
You're the type of person that inverts the axis on
Oh, you are,
fly,
aren't you?
that
Oh,
GTA
yeah.
so that your planes go. Yeah.
You bastard.
Moving on.
Your crosshair goes up when you push it down. Oh,
No, I was gonna say though,
Sean.
I think Dan, you mentioned it again in the E3 episode, is that EA have lost the exclusive publishing rights for Star Wars games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
they can still make them, but
No,
not
like,
exclusively.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
exclusive, which means that there's more companies that are going to be available to actually make maybe
Yep.
interesting and
Yeah,
different games.
is
other than-
Ubisoft making a Star Wars game? Is that the thing that's happening?
I believe it is, but we've not heard anything or seen anything about it in a while. But
I think Ubisoft and Star Wars game would be great, but
Guys,
And-
this isn't a remaster or a remake because it never came out. But since Star Wars games can be just freely made by all the companies now, can we bring back Star Wars 1330 or whatever it's
yeah,
called?
but that's really
13,
good.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
well, Amy
Yes,
Hennig,
we can.
Amy Hennig, who made the Uncharted games, is working on a Star Wars game, and a lot of
Oh,
people are saying, could
man.
it be the
Oh.
revival of 1313?
At risk of us being demonetized, I would cream myself.
I think that's why I was so let down with Jedi Fallen
Whipped
Order.
cream,
That's
yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah, I won't cream. Yeah,
That's what I thought
that.
Fallen Order was going to be, and it wasn't. And there's a review for that on the website too, but I just didn't get that. Like I thought, Uncharted and Star Wars together, that's a guaranteed win.
It's more like
And then
Souls.
Dan didn't like a thing.
Yeah, no, surprise. It's more like Dark Souls than anything else. is
Was
what
it
Yeah,
too violent?
because everything-
All stuff, yeah.
Everything has to
Did
be
not
like
fit
Dark
the
Souls now.
tone.
You don't like the gameplay, Dan?
I never even fucking played it. I don't care.
I thought it was alright. It was good.
Cameron Monaghan.
Cool.
He's nice.
He was a good Joker that
was
wasn't
a good
actually the
Joker.
Joker.
Cal Kestis was a whiny bitch.
How dare you? He had.
I
he
mean,
li- he
so
liked
was
the
Luke
band The Who.
Skywalker. There's your Star Wars protagonist.
What
Anakin
was the?
Skywalker, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
All Star Wars protagonists are whiny bitches.
Power
Canon.
converter. So, on the kind of topic of like mechanics, I want changed. I want this remaster or remake. Remake for this game purely for one little change. But it deserves it. It deserves like a remaster or remake anyway. Batman Arkham Origins. So for a remake, I just want them to fix the goddamn controls for the back gadgets because they switched it between the other games, and that
game didn't get
pissed
remade,
me off.
did it?
No,
Like,
it didn't.
Like Asylum and City got remade,
They
right?
got
a
remasters.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Which
Because-
again didn't look as good as the original game.
Because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
Rocksteady, but Origins is not, and Rocksteady
Yeah.
was like, "That game don't exist." What game?
Yeah.
Arkham?
See,
What? Or
I would
Origin?
have
What?
sworn. I would have sworn that there was a trilogy announced, like before Night came out. There was a trilogy of Asylum, City, and Origins, and then when I googled that, I couldn't find it anywhere. So maybe this is just like the Mandela effect.
I think
Yeah.
what
I
happened
thought
think
that was a
you're-
thing.
I
they
think you're
brought,
making things up with your brain, and it was a fever dream.
yeah.
Maybe it was a dream.
So I think before Origins came out, they brought out a double bill of Arkham Asylum
Yeah.
and Arkham City and
Return to
packaged that
Arkham.
Return to Arkham. Then they brought out the Arkham trilogy, and that was after Origins, so it was
Right.
Sorry, that was after
Night.
Yeah,
Right.
so it had
Sure.
those three, and just
Yeah,
Warner Brothers.
It was just Return to Arkham
banned,
with
basically.
Arkham Knight bundled in.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say there was a thing as well. There's that game is Escape from Blackgate as well.
Mhm.
That is the.
That's like a port of a mobile
That was
game and no one cares about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was a Vita game, right?
I was a Vita,
So-
Vita game, right? Yeah. I
Mhm.
thought it
No,
was-
the
I-
VR
I-
game was Batman
I heard it was
Arkham
alright.
VR.
No, Vita.
Yeah, Vita.
PlayStation Vita.
Oh, Vita.
PlayStation Vita, yeah.
But,
That was
but
a Vita
VR was
game and no one cares about it.
I like Arkham VR.
But I think Origins probably deserves a remaster. Probably.
I liked Origins a lot. The Christmas
Pretty solid.
aesthetic. I play
But-
Origins like every year around December because of
Yeah,
that.
same.
But they need to populate the streets. I hate how empty the streets are in that game.
Nah,
It doesn't feel.
It's
It doesn't feel like
it's a
Gotham, it
silent
feels-
night.
Nah, hate it.
Yeah, big surprise. No shit.
How did you feel about Arkham City?
Asylum's better.
How did you feel about Arkham Knight? I'm talking about as far as the city population goes.
Well, that was a prison. Like, it was a dumb, convoluted thing, but it was like, oh, this part of the city's a prison, so I guess.
All right,
not
well,
gonna
it's a
be
Silent Night. It's a
affected.
dumb, convoluted thing too, but it's the thing.
Dan, let me
Everyone's
make
home
an
with their family, sitting around the Christmas fire, not going out doing
Yeah.
crimes.
I was gonna say, you know that dumb convoluted thing in a game about a man who dresses up as bats and beats criminals up.
Listen.
My suspension of disbelief is broken.
Exactly. There's a line.
Exactly. There is
You
a
can't
line.
cross
Does
it.
Batman do the sex, though, is the question.
Oh no, we're not gonna.
That should have been the discussion point this week.
Oh,
We
my
can't
God.
get into
I'm-
that here.
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised it's not. I'm
Ian
surprised
will
it's not
shut
news
us
story.
down,
Yeah, sorry, right. Kind of like
and we'll go do it by
Um,
ourselves.
So my
Fairness.
honourable mention, I actually had, while Mass was talking, I had another one in mind. But my first one, I just don't really want to talk about it because I've not really got much to say about it. It's just more nostalgic. Is I want to see an Enter the Matrix remaster or remake.
I read that. I would prefer Path of Neo,
I
personally.
never played it.
Oh, Path of Neo was great.
I want
but
them to
Enter-
bring back Matrix
Enter the
Online.
Matrix was great too.
Was that the Matrix one that rewrote the third movie?
Yeah, we
Also,
wrote the end.
Yeah.
He fought a giant Mr. Smith.
And there was,
He was like Godzilla.
the Merovingian's mansion was filled full of glitches in AI that were just giant bugs and shit like that.
The mechanics were
I don't know,
awesome
but-
though.
You redid the motorway scene, you redid the mansion, you redid the pole fight with like the hundreds of Mr. Smiths. That was Path of Neo was brilliant.
Guys,
Yeah.
I want to suggest something to you.
Go for
John Wick, right?
it. Mhm.
Okay. Matrix. Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 coming out on the same day, right?
Double dose of Keanu.
What if they both come out and it turns out they're the same movie
Ooh.
and John Wick has been Neo the whole time?
That would be incredible.
I would love that,
Absolutely.
but I think were they not delayed so that they're now coming out in different days?
Bastard.
Fuck you.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to
Just,
kill you.
how
Yeah.
Matrixy is John Wick in the first place anyways? Like the whole assassin society and how like weird and buttoned up and like kind of
Oh, yeah,
weirdly
I think it
esoteric
was-
everyone is. Like
I think it was a cracked video from After Hours years and years and years ago about John Wick, and it was something like that. It was one of those videos. It was apparently, if you think about John Wick is actually a simulation in the Matrix of how people learn kung fu.
Mm.
So how
Ooh.
Neo learns kung fu and fighting.
all right, well I guess I'm a hack.
There's a final kind of honourable mention that I thought of. I can't even. Something in the back of my mind tells me it's already been done, but I'd love to see a remaster of Pokemon Stadium. Has that been done?
Don't know.
No.
What is Pokemon Stadium?
Basically,
It's like a N64 game, right?
yeah, N64
The
game
N64 was before his time.
So it was basically you'd do Pokemon battles, but it was almost in that kind of JRPG kind of style,
Oh, that's good, cool.
and it was like full on graphics. It wasn't like 8-bit or anything.
I mean, I think
You
if
mean like
Pokemon's-
every Pokemon game which is in that JRPG turn-based style?
Yeah, but this one looked nice.
I think Pokemon Snap's getting a sequel, so I don't see why not.
I'd like
If,
that one,
or-
yeah.
if Stadium, we get maybe a remaster.
Pokemon Snap did in fact get a sequel. They called it
Yeah.
New Pokemon Snap. Very creative.
Very, very good by Nintendo.
Good name. You know what? New Super Mario Brothers, new Pokemon Snap. I'm surprised they didn't call Metroid Dread New Metroid.
Yeah. That actually sounds quite cool when you put it that way. But like NU Metroid. New Metroid.
Dan, tell me about video games.
Right. Okay. I've changed my picks at the last minute.
Whoa.
How dare you? You have
Pick
two. There's too many. Pick one.
Pick number 1. Talk about Batman. Remember Batman Vengeance for the PS2?
Yeah.
No.
What a game.
Mhm.
It was set in the animated series universe. The graphics were in that style. We had Mark Hamill doing Joker. We had Kevin Conroy doing Batman. And it was this. It was kind of redone in Arkham City when Joker fakes his own death,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then at the end he actually does die. Well, Batman Vengeance is the same. At the start, Joker fakes his death, and then turns out no, he's bamming up Batman the whole game. But it was called Batman Vengeance, but it was more about Joker getting vengeance on
Mhm.
other gangsters and Batman and stuff. But
I
really
mean-
cool game. Again, if you went back now, I'm sure the controls would be horrible, tank controls, and the graphics would probably look really poor.
Very
but
boxy,
it really
yeah.
did capture the feel of that series, like with the aesthetic and the music and the voice acting. And yeah, I love that game. I'd love to see that remade for the ground up.
That they could also. You could make a game based on Batman the animated series look really, really good.
Oh, it's super cell
Yeah.
shaded.
Like
all
you
that
could
kind of
you
stuff,
could
yeah.
basically look like it's straight out of the cartoon at this
Yeah.
point if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
play your cards right.
Get the right developer on it.
Something else I've been. This is not on my list. This is just an aside. Something else I've been wanting for a number of years. Like, see how kind of like what Telltale do with like their seasons. They have like
Yeah.
releasing seasons, right? I don't know what developer could do this, but see if a developer was to take all the iconic Batman stories like from the comics and just adapt them straight into a game. So you would have a Long Halloween kind of short DLC, and it would be in the style of Tim Sale's art, and you would play through the Long Halloween, and then you would have a Dark Knight Returns DLC, which would be like in the style of Frank Miller, and like I don't know, just change the art style totally to suit the comic every time. I think that'd be really cool.
So I would
So
say the
like
guys
Lego
that
Batman,
did-
but not Lego.
I guess.
Yeah. I'd say
I
the
would
guys
say,
that did
'cause,
the
like, I
Black Sad
think-
game would probably be a good shout if they could
Yeah.
make it work.
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna say
just-
Lego Batman because I think Lego Batman 3 had like a Dark Knight DLC and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, just do like a straight adaptation, and just for the fighting scenes in the comics, just that's gameplay. Like you
Mm.
fight
I
the
think-
guys.
The issue is, as well as a lot of time is DC are almost very protective over what stories you immediately directly translate.
Yeah,
Because even the Telltale game for Batman isn't any direct retailing; it's so
Yeah,
entirely.
it's their own thing. Yeah,
And I think the issue, I think obviously really cool to maybe adapt that and kind of do it, but I think the issue with that is it would maybe lose its novelty. But because it would look good,
Mhm.
and if it played well, it would play well. But it'd be like, okay, we've already seen the story done, especially on Halloween, where it's already been animated adaptation, comic book, obviously, and then turn it into a video game as well.
but I would argue there's a big audience that have played the Batman games that don't read the comics and don't watch the animated
true.
stuff.
Very true.
So,
I mean, it probably
there's
would
your-
definitely appeal to that. But I just don't know. I just for me, it would be like, okay, they're retreading the same ground.
Nah,
Yeah,
I'd like to see it, man.
That's right.
I don't
just
think,
as a tangent there, the Long Halloween Part 1 comes out on the 22nd.
Yeah,
The
that's
animated
soon.
one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Tuesday,
looking
right?
forward to that.
I don't think the comic book audience is that offended by the idea of retreading old ground.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
also true.
very fair.
Every time there's like an adaptation or a remake of something, everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Talking of superhero games on the PS2,
Yes,
or
we
comic
are.
book games, Punisher, which was a PS2 game that just had these awesome, pretty much fatalities that you could just
Yeah.
put drill presses through guys' heads. You could throw
I
guys
got
into
that shit on my
furnaces and burn them
PC.
alive. You could put them through a table saw. Just really horrific things like decapitate a guy with a window pane, and just make that again. Just remake that again.
Funny
Yeah.
how this is the one thing that Dan likes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the game
That
that
was-
involved shoving people
Well,
into
the violence fit the
grinders.
tone.
So,
Yeah.
See, that's the thing though, right? Manhunt came out for the PS2, and I mean, I still liked it and enjoyed it and played it at the time. But Manhunt was about preying on kind of innocent people, whereas
Mhm.
Punisher, you were killing bad guys. It was fine.
Mhm.
Was it though? Wasn't Manhunt more about like
criminal, like yeah,
it was like
being
other
exploited,
psychopaths you were
being
killing and
exploited
stuff.
by the system and America
Yeah.
and people's obsession with reality TV and
America.
a lot
It's a
of social
Rockstar game. I
commentary.
mean,
It's a
whatever.
Rockstar
But
game.
yeah, it felt
Jack
definitely
Thompson
felt-
had words to say.
it felt more snuff film than Punisher did.
Oh yeah,
Punisher was
I
still
mean,
fun.
yes.
Yeah.
Punisher, you're like, yeah, these guys they're peddling drugs to kids, and so I'm gonna
So they
fucking
deserve to
saw
die.
this. I'm gonna Mortal Kombat this dude to death.
Yeah.
Thomas Jane is gonna say words.
Yeah, love that game.
Because that was supposed to be,
A tie-in.
yeah, it was supposed to be set in the same, it was basically after the Thomas Jane Punisher movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And
once
yet it was so far removed from that film.
yeah. Because that was
Yeah.
the thing is at the end. So Thomas Jane Punisher, the only the biggest problem with that movie. No, I don't say the only one, but the biggest problem is that it's set in Miami, which is weird. And then at the end of that movie, it's inferred that he moves to New York.
Yeah, why change it? What else have I got? Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter was a cool game.
I want to
Remember
hunt
Spy Hunter?
spies
No idea.
It was
before your time.
it was actually a racing game. It was a PS2 car-based game, but your car transformed into a boat and a motorbike. It was this.
As you do if you're a spy.
Yeah.
Oh, Spy Hunter was actually a remake of a arcade game.
Yep.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it started off in the arcade. Yeah. And then they made it into a movie with The Rock.
Oh, Spy Hunter was on the
movie called Spy
Tapwave
Hunter.
Zodiac.
But I mean, with modern graphics, modern controls, I'd definitely be into that, man. Like, let the Burnout guys do it. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
that just reminded me.
almost 20 years old.
That was my one of those ones that's already been remastered. Was Burnout Paradise was one of the ones that I really would love a remake of.
Yeah, we need a new Burnout game, man. Been too long.
Just to mention
Yeah,
the
I mean-
spies reminded me of something there. Did any of you guys ever play Spy vs Spy? No, PS2 game.
I know of it. I've never actually.
Yeah, I've heard of it, I think, but nah.
Yeah, that was a really fun game. I'd like a remake of that.
Oh, Spy Hunter came out in 2001,
2000?
2002. So literally before Massimo's time.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, I feel old.
He's a little young boy.
And the last one I've got has, as you mentioned earlier, has already been remastered, but I'd like to see a remake of Killer 7, which was a Suda
Killer
51 game that was just bonkers. Do you guys know it?
No.
Yeah. That's another one of those games that has just like a super cool art style.
So you were this assassin guy that could like turn into 7 people. It was like 7 people lived in the one body, right? And they were all related. They were all like the same family or something.
Oh,
And they all had like different powers and different skills. It was very Japanese.
Studio
and weird.
51
That's cool,
make,
yeah.
is it XII or whatever it's called? Is that
No,
13
13
was
no,
Ubisoft,
13.
I think.
Yeah, that was a Western game.
Because we say it just looks very similar art style wise, like very like cell shaded.
No,
It's-
the guy made Killer 7 went on to do No More Heroes.
Oh yeah,
with
oh
that.
fuck yeah, great, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Travis, yeah, nice.
I mean, yeah, Killer 7 and 13 definitely have like a Deep Impact Armageddon thing going on.
Yeah.
Like, they came out at a similar time. They have a similar kind of style, like visual style to them, but very different games.
I would take an update at 13 as well. I would really like that game too.
That game
Yeah.
got a remaster, but it was shit apparently.
Yeah, I've not played it, but I did hear that.
They messed up the art style, which
Yeah.
is something like, okay, the Wind Waker remaster right on the Wii U. They completely fucked up the cell shading on it. Like it's all smooth shading now, and it's more vividly colorful than the original Wii version, but it looks worse because you don't have the flat cell shading. I don't know why people do this.
I think I'm at the end of my list.
Yeah.
Oh, is it me now? Is it my turn?
Yeah.
You're now Green Ian.
All right,
Yeah.
check
It's
this
Green
out.
Boy's turn.
You're a green
We-
screen.
We've
now.
talked about
Yeah, get it.
shit.
Refresh
Hey.
yourself.
There we go.
Here I am. It's me, Mario.
Yeah.
So check it out. We've talked about cell shaded games. We've talked about Spider-Man games.
Oh,
What if we remade a cell shaded Spider-Man game?
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
I propose- I would like to see a remaster or remake of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The unsung little brother of Spider-Man 2.
It was so good, yeah.
It's really good. First of all, like the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, I've sung its praises before on the podcast. It's fantastic. This took place within the comic book continuity, right after the introduction of Venom in the comics. And it basically played just like it came out in 2005. It basically played just like the Spider-Man 2 game from like a year earlier. It was the same engine, same developer. I think they improved a couple of mechanics, but just the style of it was so good. I mean, the mechanics themselves would have to be updated. The combat is crap now. Like it doesn't feel as good to play anymore. But it was a really cool game. The art style was great. The cutscenes were done as like comic book panels.
That's right.
You could get to the point where you could play as Venom, so it kind of had that Web of Shadows thing, but a little bit different. Venom was cool because he just leaped around like in Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Yeah.
And ate people, which I loved doing. I love to eat people. You can quote me on that.
Army Hammer.
Yeah, Army Hammer is Eddie Brock.
Did we get that soundbite, Dan? Yeah, did you get that soundbite? Was there, no one else was talking at that point? Just let's have that.
I love to eat people.
Yeah.
Now we've got Massimo saying it too.
Yeah.
Everyone else want to chime in? There's the big Glasgow cannibal page. I would really love to see that I'd love to see that game gussied up to be a little bit more modern and easier to get, because you can't, much like a lot of the other Marvel games we've talked about, the only way you can get this game at this point is either find a physical copy. It came out for all the systems and PC, or pirate that shit. Guess which one I did?
Pirate that.
I've got the PS2 game, the hard copy.
Oh,
Gav as well, yeah.
I had the game.
Well, look at you not breaking the law.
I had it for the Game Boy.
I still have a
Did it come? I think it did have a GBA version.
Yeah, the GBA, the Game Boy Advance version, that was not as good as the PS2 version.
Well, no, I mean, this is back when everything came out on everything, and you'd get like the Game Boy Advance version that wasn't really the same game, but it had the same name to it.
Yeah, it's side scroller.
My second choice is a little indie RPG. You may have heard. You know, it wasn't really that popular, but I think it was pretty good. Morrowind.
Oh.
I've heard of it. Didn't know much about it.
Yeah, there's this little indie developer called Bethesda. I don't think they really went on to make anything else.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Obscurity.
Has there been more than one version of Morrowind? Has there been an updated version, like an older one?
No,
because I feel like I thought it came to PS3.
No. So there are a couple of things like it. So the Elder Scrolls Online got a Morrowind expansion that is pretty faithful to the tone. I liked it. There's been an ongoing project to bring Morrowind whole cloth, the whole quest, all of it. Voice acting's being done to Skyrim as a total conversion that's actually really far along, called Skywind. I recommend looking it up on YouTube. There's a bunch of development diaries and trailers, and it looks amazing.
A terrible name, though.
And I will for sure... Skywind.
It's a really, really bad name.
Like a fart.
Like a fart.
It's just this fart joke. We're highbrow.
It's a dragon fart.
Morrowind was included in the PS3 Game of the Year edition of Oblivion.
Oh, really? Well, that wasn't a remaster, so I don't care.
Just a port.
Yeah, it's also back. The original Xbox version is backwards compatible on the Xbox One, and boy, is that a way to play it. Plays super smooth, 60 frames per second, but the draw distance is about 5 feet. And of course, you can still play Morrowind. Like Morrowind is still very playable on modern systems, on modern PCs.
People would have modded the hell of it as well, though. Like graphics mods.
Like
stuff, so.
I have it. I have Morrowind. So here I have Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim always installed on my PC because I like to be able to go back to them anytime that I want to play something and I don't want to make decisions. So I just load one of them up and run around and kill things. And I always have Morrowind modded, and you can do that. Like it's not one of those PC games where it's impossible to get running on modern systems. It runs perfectly fine. There are some unofficial patches to expand the draw distance and the graphics and all that, and it's great. But I'd like to see an official like remake of it. But I'll settle for. I mean, they're basically remaking the entire thing in the Skyrim engine, that fan project. So I mean, like worst comes to worst, I'll settle for that.
I mean, it's 20 years old at this point, so it's definitely probably good.
It is. It is 20 years old, and meanwhile, Skyrim's probably going to get like a third re-release at some point.
Yep, before the new one's out anyway.
Yeah. For
I
a
don't care
French at
for
this
it.
point.
My last choice, and this might be controversial. I'd like to see a Sonic Adventure remake.
What one was Sonic Adventure? Was that just the original? Or
It's the one on the Dreamcast. It's the one on the Dreamcast where you run from a whale. It's the first 3D Sonic.
yeah, it's
No.
controversial. How dare
No.
you?
I am wasted on this audience.
You really are.
A lot of people want a Sonic Adventure remake. It has not. Look, it's beloved. I still play it very often. I have it on the PC. The Steam version's crap, but you can get mods for it that make it not crap and make it actually really similar to the original Dreamcast release. But I mean, it's aged poorly. Like, objectively speaking, it's not a good game anymore. It was Sonic's first 3D game, which, let's be honest, 3D Sonic games, even the newer ones, are iffy at best.
Yeah.
Unfinished.
And I think, but it had a style to it. Like it was a product of the time, and I'd love to see it redone with like not crappy controls and newer graphics. I'm surprised there hasn't been a fan effort to do that, because the Sonic 3D fan game community has actually become extremely robust. There's some really good functional 3D Sonic fan game engines out there, shockingly. So I mean, I'm surprised fans haven't done anything with that yet. But I would just, for nostalgia's sake, I'd like to see that game remade. Maybe throw in Sonic Adventure 2 with it. So they've got Shadow also, which we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
Hell,
I was gonna say.
throw Shadow in there as well. Have it be a threequel.
Nice.
That way Shadow can run around and be like, I got my own remaster. I'm Sonic with guns.
Let's just have a Shadow the Hedgehog remake where it's Call of Duty. Happy with that?
I'm furry Vegeta.
Oh god, he is.
Doesn't. No, that's the wrong saying, isn't it?
There was another one that came to mind when I was thinking that I was going to give an honorable mention, and now I forgot. And so, who cares? Let's move on. You guys want to talk about
news?
News?
Yeah.
News.
Morty, you want to talk about some news?
News.
Speaking of which, there's an interview with the mission.
Not yet.
Tie in later, so. Can't stop.
We don't talk over the news music.
Until the wish happens.
Music.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, Massimo did an interview with the guys that read the Rick and Morty comic.
Yeah. Guys who Alex Fear for free Freer. He's Spanish. Not Spanish. Russian.
You are tripping. You want to start over?
True Rick and Morty
No, that's
fashion.
getting kicked in. These are Spanish, Italian,
I'm
American.
so sorry, Alex.
Italian?
If he's watching this, it was a really nice interview. Him and Fred T. Stressing, the artist and writer for the new Rick and Morty series, Rick's New Hat, as well as the guys who wrote the Bird Person's origin story. Lovely guys. Jesus Christ, I don't know what happened.
Listen, if you can't wait to get your Rick and Morty fix on Sunday, go and listen to that interview.
Exactly.
You're welcome,
really,
Massimo.
yeah, it is.
My head hurts
really
for
good.
you.
It is really good, and they are really interesting guys, and it's a very high energy interview.
Yeah.
Unlike this, which is very low energy
Low
because
energy.
I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not a
please
good host
fall
this
it off
week.
of me.
This makes for a good ASMR this episode. Can
Hey
sleep to
man,
this.
I'm just getting it. I was gonna say I'm just getting it on, but that's not the thing I'm doing.
You can arm yourself if you want, mate. Just save it till after.
So as no one will turn the camera off.
I mean, no one can see below the waist. Whatever. God damn
This
it.
whole time.
God damn it.
Should we do some news?
Yeah.
Save me from myself.
Let me think of a segue.
Talking of inappropriate
Speaking of getting
and
it on,
crass people, there's news about Flash costumes in the new film
Yeah.
because everyone's a creep. Yeah, we got to look at the Flash costume up close, and there's kind of more detail on it and stuff.
we got to look at 6 inches by 6 inches of the Flash's chest.
We also got the same for Supergirl as well.
There's,
Yes.
there's a whole theme of that these days. Like they did it for the Flashpoint Batman costume as well.
Yeah, it's all the same movie. It's just the director putting
yeah.
out teasers.
Yeah, I think it's just a theme they're going with, maybe.
Didn't they do it for the Matt Reeves Batman as well?
Kind of.
Yeah, sounds right.
Not
one of the
exactly
pictures,
the same way. They put out like a video, like a short clip of.
They gave us a vignette, didn't they? Like
Something like that.
Shadowed thing.
But similar. I expect. So we've got Supergirl, we've got Flash, we've got Keaton. I expect we'll probably get Affleck next. I mean, we all know what his suit looks like, but maybe they'll make some changes. You know what would really imagine, if you will, right? You look on Instagram one day. Hey, there's Andy guy who's directing the film. His last name I can't. Sure, Andy Muschietti.
He did the It movie. There's a review for the It movie on the website.
Yes, there is. There's a bat signal, and it looks like the Affleck signal, but there's something different about it. It has a red circle behind it.
What if
Flashpoint Batman is what I'm saying.
What if Jeffrey Dean Morgan looked Flashpoint Batman?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's
the Snyder version.
Yes.
Ooh.
God, that would be.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that because we all know what Affleck's Batman like, unless they make changes to his suit. Like,
speaking of Zack Snyder and Justice League and Batman, we recently got concept art, or concept, I guess, kind of renderings, I guess you'd call them, of Green Lantern, who was supposed to appear in the Justice League Snyder Cut instead of Martian Manhunter, or in place of, and again,
I believe that footage was actually filmed too at this point in Zack Snyder's driveway, and they just didn't let him use it.
Yeah.
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut.
Speaking
Hashtag
of which,
release the Green Lantern Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's also a review of on the website.
I did that one. That was me.
Guess what? Guess what? There's a podcast of on the website and on the YouTube channel.
Oh, that was us too.
Was as well.
I was there. I don't remember any of it.
God, now do I.
Alan had things to say.
Yeah, he did.
Send the ether.
Bless his soul. What little is left of it.
Shell of a man.
Something else we got talking about, like concept art and kind of early looks at things. We got a look at Jane Foster's costume in Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, it was on a T-shirt, it was on a print, and it wasn't the clearest. It was kind of grainy, but
it was kind of intentionally. I feel like they printed that T-shirt to have that kind of like intentionally weathered '80s style to it.
Yeah, totally.
Which I dig.
But from what can be made out, it looks pretty comic accurate. So
yeah, it looks a lot like the Jane Foster Thor costume from the comics, with the kind of mask attached to the helmet and all that. I think that's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
They're taking a lot of inspiration from that run of comics at the moment. Even like if you're talking about Loki and Thor and all that kind of stuff, like just across the board.
Yeah,
it's probably
I'm sure that's no accident.
Yeah.
Who was the member of the Justice League that kind of looks like that?
What, like Thor?
No, Jane Foster's character. She had a mace.
Hot girl.
Hot girl.
Yeah, a hot girl.
Hawk girl. Otherwise, it sounds like we're saying hot girl, which is also accurate.
Yeah.
Kendra Saunders, or Shira, whatever her name is, or whatever The Hawk characters have a complicated history that I don't want to go into right now.
We don't have the time or the effort.
Either way, it looks like that. That's what it reminds me of.
Maybe someday. Yeah, a little bit. I can see it. But I think that'll be. I mean, I loved Ragnarok. I like Taika Waititi's work. I think he's a funny dude. So
we also have reviews on the website of Thor 2 and 3.
Speaking of Thor and Marvel.
God, you're just punching those segues today. Just hitting them out of the park. Really home run after home run.
Jonathan Majors, the guy who is, I believe, I don't know if it's completely confirmed, but he's supposed to be playing Kang the Conqueror.
He's
in Ant-Man and the Quantum Realm, has came out and basically kind of not flat out denied. He's basically denied that he's going to be in the new Loki TV show, because people have been speculating, which we'll probably talk about when we talk about Loki properly, about his involvement as Kang and the Timekeepers and the Sacred Timeline and stuff like that. His exact quote was, "I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but did you not read that as, oh, I've got no idea what you're talking about? Like,
I have no idea
as
what
you-
you're talking about. Sounds like something a cop would say. I mean, something that someone who knows what you're
As you
talking
said,
about would
Dan, I'm just going off the fact that he's denied it, but most likely it could be. But I don't want to get my hopes up because after One Division, I try and keep all of my.
I know the reason people are thinking about Kang and Loki is it's not just all the multiversal time travel stuff. It's because if you look at the Timekeepers as
One
they're
of them
portrayed,
looks like Kang.
they kind of friggin' look like Kang. They've got like the hood with the earmuffs.
But,
all of them do. One of them has like antenna, I guess.
It's entirely plausible, but I don't want to set myself up for excitement when it doesn't happen.
Just wait till Mephisto shows up.
Oh my god, not again. No, one of my favorite.
What if Kang is Mephisto?
Oh my god! One of my favorite kind of modern Marvel comics was the Young Avengers that came out, and obviously in that story, the young Iron Man is actually Kang and stuff like that, and that was a really cool idea, and I really enjoyed that. And I feel like
there was also Ultimate Marvel where Mr. Fantastic became the Maker, who is evil, and future Sue Storm became Kang. A version of Kang.
As you do.
As you do. You go, you meet your future self, they're evil. I mean, it's just a Tuesday.
I mean, it could happen, obviously, but it could also not happen. So I guess, knowing Disney, as you said, it could be, oh, of course I know nothing about
We
this
are bringing the hot takes today. It could happen or it could not happen.
We'll see.
We're very confident.
You're not getting this kind of content anywhere else on that.
We're covering our whole ass here.
Exactly. Mispronunciation of names, insulting each other, and
Martin Castillo.
Speaking of things,
best episode ever.
Speaking of things that are true despite what they tell you. So Tyrese Gibson.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort made there. That was good. That was good.
Man. Give me credit.
Yeah. Tyrese Gibson supposedly confirmed that Morbius is going to be set in the MCU.
Now, if you want to read someone that doesn't know anything to do what they're talking about, somebody that genuinely doesn't know what they're talking about, Tyrese is your man.
Exactly.
Tyrese Gibson is being a dumbass. What?
Tyrese is just dumb.
I know that man thinks he's in the MCU for a fact, and probably went up to Vin Diesel and was like, "Oh, I can't wait to be in a film with you." And Vin Diesel's like,
"Such a
what?"
And Vin Diesel was like, I am Groot.
Yeah, but then of course it got corrected. Somebody said like, "Wouldn't talk shite." Yeah,
corrected.
We'll
see. We'll see. Maybe it is or it isn't. We'll find out.
Exactly, we will know. That's it. The Glasgow Big Glasgow comic page guarantee it is or isn't.
Maybe it's in the MCU and maybe it's not in the MCU, and maybe Tyrese Gibson is actually Kang the Conqueror.
Ooh. That's a hot take for this.
That's a fan theory.
Staying with Marvel. Staying with Marvel.
Go on.
Yeah. In September, we've got a new comic coming out from Tom Taylor. It's going to be Marvel Dark Ages. It looks like they're going to be taking the kind of route of like medieval Batman. Kind of Dark Dynasty stuff.
Listen, I know that Ian's about to go on a wee bit of a slagging rant here, but the promotional art looked great.
It does look really good, yeah.
Yeah, but the art doesn't always help a book, as we discovered last week with fucking All-Star Batman.
All right.
Over to you, Ian.
Tom Taylor's a fantastic writer, and I love everything he's done with Marvel. Injustice was great. He's writing a Superman book that's good. He does a good Red Hood and Batman. I wish they would give him a Green Arrow book because he writes the hell out of Green Arrow. Here's what he had to say about Dark Ages I'm reading this off of Bleeding Cool. I want to give credit where credit is due. He says, "It all begins with the shocking revelation of what the Watcher has been watching for. A danger older than the Earth threatens everything. And for once, the first time, the heroes who saved the planet time and again find themselves almost completely powerless in the face of it. For the first time ever, X-Men Adventures will assemble. Spider-People and the Fantastic Four will come together. Also Heroes for Hire will fight. Blah, 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 blah. It's going to be the end of the world. It's the biggest stake. where have we heard this before? Oh,
Yeah.
right, every Marvel event ever.
I love Spider People as well as a quote.
But
I've
but you
just
still
Guardian of the
read it.
Galaxy,
you just Marvel,
the Avengers, Spider
Marvel,
People.
baby, sit down. This is an intervention.
So it's literally what the power goes out. What is that? Is that
You
what I'm...
need to stop having world-ending events every 3 months because you're like the event that cried wolf now. The last time you did this and it actually mattered was Secret Wars, and you ended up rebooting a whole universe or whatever. And now they're probably bringing the Ultimate Universe back anyway. So who cares? You just calm down. Just have little events. Just be like, hey, this is a big deal for SpiderMan, or this is a big deal for the X-Men, or like the Avengers are disassembling again, or some shit like that. Wanda's crazy, but like they do world-ending event. Like we just got done with the King in Black.
Yeah, which I didn't
Which
know.
was good. Review on the website.
We're just getting done with Heroes Reborn. Like.
Yeah. Again,
I don't even read Marvel events really, and I'm exhausted of Marvel events.
I'll be honest. The only time I read comic books mainly now, this might be blasphemy as I'm on a comic book podcast, is when it's like solo books, like stuff that takes place maybe outside the continuity or stuff that takes place by its own individual thing.
That's exactly. Marvel is just they've been event happy ever since Civil War, pretty much. Like for 15 years, like Civil War was a hit, and they were like, oh, let's have a summer blockbuster event every fucking month. I'm sure it'll be good. Tom Taylor's a great writer. That art looks amazing. Everyone looks steampunked out. It will mean nothing in the end. You know why? Because there's movies coming out where we need to maintain the status quo so that people go see those movies, and that's
same
why.
as Death of Doctor Strange.
Same reason that Death of Doctor Strange will amount to nothing. My last comment here is a joke that was the first thing that I thought of when I saw the Spider-Man teaser. Finally, we're getting that comic book adaptation of Turn Off the Dark that everyone's been waiting for. Go, your turn.
Yeah, good.
I
was just about to say, as you're saying with like all these kind of world-ending events that keep happening, that's why I'm looking forward to the Inhumans. Or is it the Eternal?
The Eternals.
Yeah, the Eternals. Sorry.
Yeah, they tried the Inhumans. It was bad.
Yeah, sorry, not Inhumans. Eternals.
Eternals
So much I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's like they look. It looks like they're doing a kind of what happened after the world-ending event, and they're kind of just like bringing up a civilization as superheroes, and I'm kind of like, I'm into that kind of nice camera film. So okay, see, yeah,
I like seeing what happens after apocalyptic events.
Yeah.
The rebuilding of it is really nice.
They should just get Alex Packendale to write
please.
Right, that's his thing.
Packendale write something, please. God.
Shout out to Alex.
I would say also shout out to Alex. Immortal Hulk 10 Monsters, fantastic book, really good. I read it the other day. I ordered a signed copy from Friend and Planet.
Oh, nice.
By the way, Massimo has a wonderful interview with Alex on the website. Go check it out.
And a review for Giga, right?
Yeah, I was a review for Giga as well, which are all Giga's phenomenal as well.
Hitting those website references.
Exactly.
1, 2.
Making the boss man happy.
Hurt my elbow.
Something else that's coming out in September is the Lemmy Kilmister graphic novel.
Yeah, that was interesting, right?
Yeah, he's just the guy has like a look that just conforms to so many different kind of art styles, and the guy has lived a life.
He was in, what was the Jack Black game called again?
Brutal Legend.
Right, he was in that, and the style that he had in that was cool. So yeah,
he just has a presence. Yeah, totally. I would be into that. Yeah,
I think the issue with that game was that it was people thought it would be this big hack and slash thing, and
and then it was like a weird RTS hybrid.
It changed from God of War to like RTS.
God of War Hammer. God of War Hammer.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, not bad.
I did it. I made the joke.
Well done.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, talking about games, since we're back to that, Cyberpunk is now live again on the PlayStation Store after the whole debacle that had happened.
And nobody cares because that game will still probably not run properly on a PlayStation 4.
The thing with that is, I feel like there's too much damage being done. Like in terms of its reputation and its
Well,
sort of social media presence and stuff, and
You
the
can
meetings
get-
and all the rest of it, the damage has been done,
You can
and
get
I feel like
Cyberpunk for like 20 quid on
you
like
can
PC.
put it back
Yeah.
onto the store, and you can tell everybody, look, it runs perfectly. Nobody cares.
It's
fine.
I'll play
It's
it
the
at some
PC
point.
Arkham Knight situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play it at some point. I think it looks like a game I'll enjoy when I play it, but at the moment,
Well, I did want to write a review for it, right? But I gave
Yeah.
it 6 months. I waited till the game was out for 6 months, and I thought, do you know what? See if a game's not ready by 6 months after its release, too late. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I wrote my review on the website for Cyberpunk at that point, because I was like, see if it's still not ready, then what you doing?
Cyberpunk is a game that 10 years from now, when everyone has PCs that can run it, and it's modded to shit to be a good game, it'll be fantastic.
I mean, No Man's Sky is a similar situation. That game's like 7 years old now.
Yeah.
That game now.
Game's like
But
5 years old.
No
Five,
Man's
six.
Sky is a procedurally generated game made by 8 people. Cyberpunk is a AAA game that was teased for 15 years before it came out, and it's still not ready
He
and
is
playable
both-
and what was promised. Like
He's
that-
both
that's
not
it.
out of line and right.
Not the same.
I'm both and one. Hot
Yeah.
takes.
Remember when games used to just come out and they were finished?
No.
Man,
Man.
remember you could just put a game in and
Mhm.
play it. You
Yeah.
didn't have
Yeah.
to do 6 updates and
Or have
Guys,
a day one patch is about 40
I think you're forgetting that even in that time, broken games still came out. You just couldn't fix them.
Yeah, so that's like that's why they were great.
and also not at the frequency as what
Unbeknownst.
they do now.
Yeah.
They were also games are also less complicated system wise.
Yes, that's
I
also
mean,
true.
Skyrim's a
Mhm.
broken piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know
was
what?
funny,
I
though.
miss dragons that fly backwards, and more than anything, of all the Skyrim bugs at launch, I miss when dragons just launch, or not dragons, when giants just launch you into the stratosphere. That was a feature as far as I was concerned.
Yeah. Put that on the box. Yeah.
Put it back in the like patch that back into the game, Bethesda. If you do another re-release, put that back in. I loved when I was trying to fight a giant and they killed me and they slammed the ground with their club and I just went fucking flying into space. That was great.
It's like
That
invention.
should
Along
have
with your
stayed.
horse.
Yes, that should have stayed.
Have we got more news to cover? Should we go into John Wick casting?
Well-
no, we didn't
Only
actually.
things
No.
left.
So the guy that played Scorpion in
yep.
Mortal Kombat has been cast in John Wick. That's cool.
Yeah.
Along with Donnie Yen and Bill Skarsgård. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
that's coming together.
Yeah, they're all
We'll
gonna
talk about
come
it, yeah.
together in the Matrix and bring Neo back to life.
You heard it here
Also, DC Comics has announced that they're launching I Am Batman, written by John Ridley with art by Olivier Coipel, which is going to continue the story of is it Luke Fox as the new Batman?
Yeah.
Basically the
Oh, yeah.
5G shit that they were doing that got canceled when Didio left, but then everyone liked it, and so they're like, I guess we'll keep doing this as like a side thing. I don't think that takes place in current, like in modern, like current day continuity. I think it's still like a future thing.
Oh, I'll read that then.
Yeah.
But it's with their whole Infinite Frontier thing. They can pretty much do whatever they want, which I kind of like. Olivia, I don't know much about John Ridley, but Olivier Coipel, their art's really good. So I'll take a look. I like Batman.
Yeah.
Some people know me as someone who maybe likes Batman a little bit. I definitely don't have Batman pajamas and posters and a 1997 unopened Riddler action figure on my wall.
Speaking of Batman,
Speaking of Batman,
What have you got?
no.
listen, all I'm going to say is what a waste of Michael Keaton's glorious
Yeah.
lips.
Right?
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
you know, we all knew he was selfish on the streets, but he's also
Someone
selfish
get
in
Michelle
the streets.
Pfeiffer on the phone.
So,
Someone said
Yeah.
that Christian Bale is exactly the type of guy that would say, "Oh yeah, I do it all the time," and never does
never
it.
do it.
Yeah, that's Christian Bale.
It's American
Anyway,
Psycho.
for those who are wondering what we're talking about, look
Nope.
on the internet
No,
about
no.
comics.
If you know, you know.
No.
Yeah,
That's-
you know, you
that's
know.
Zack Snyder said it's canon.
Yeah.
His universe? Yes.
Right,
Thank
you.
we're at an hour 20, and we've still to do Loki. Should we do that?
Yeah.
Loki episode 2. Time shenanigans.
Yes.
Things happen in this episode. I liked it.
I thought it was great. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I'm not sure where I stand on Loki right now.
I think that they're moving things along well enough.
I don't feel like it's WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier were definitely slower shows with shorter run times. And I feel like Loki is already moving at a faster pace over a longer period of time because
this episode was like 54 minutes long.
4 minutes long, yeah. Whereas, WandaVision was like 20-30 minutes at max up until the movie finale, and Falcon and Winter Soldier was the same. So I feel like they're already gearing up already for whatever's going to happen in the next few episodes.
I like that in episode 2 here, like through most of the episode, the entire time, I was still kind of watching it being like, yeah, but is he going to double cross them or not? Like, it kind of still kept you guessing the whole time. Like, is he really trying to get their favor, or is he just... it's so fit. With some characters that would just be bad writing. With Loki, it's completely fitting. You're like, I don't know if he's on the level or not.
I think there's a good job for that.
The best thing as well they've done with this Loki was the fact they've caught him up to speed with what happens to him in the future.
Right.
But he's still not that same, heroic version.
No.
Like, he still exists in between the two of the very evil one that appeared in Avengers and also the heroic one that appears in
he now has a completely different motivation than the previous Loki, because now he's seen where his life goes if he stays on his like dedicated time stream. And it's what we kind of established in that first episode is he now knows that everything he could ever do is meaningless.
Yeah.
So he needs a new goal.
And then we wants to just find out why.
Well, the first episode was called Glorious Purpose, and I guess that changed his purpose, was seeing that. So
he has a new glorious purpose.
And
I enjoyed the kind of buddy cop procedural detective work between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. I think that was a lot of fun.
I really like seeing him get into the whole world-ending event thing.
Yes.
Some great
that was really cool.
They've got some really great on-screen chemistry, especially that bit in Pompeii.
Yeah, Pompey seems great.
Such a really he's like, we can't do that. Cuts to Pompey.
But wouldn't it be fun though?
That was the whole episode. It's like, yeah, we can't do that.
And Loki being like,
yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson is so good in this show.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
He's a weird actor, and it kind of just fits here. He is he's like a really funny straight man.
He is both so Owen Wilson and so not Owen Wilson simultaneously, and it's very confusing for my brain.
What I kind of like about it as well, like Owen Wilson has played obviously a lot of comedy films, and he's also played a few serious roles. This is somewhere in between.
Yeah.
It gets the flexibility that you probably don't get a lot of roles of like this character, of it being like he is, as you said, he's the straight man to Loki's stupidly.
Just very chaotic, overly mischievous.
Right.
Yeah, but he also knows when to give. Like he also realizes that he can't be the uptight kind of prude thing, and it's really funny.
I feel like we got some looks behind the curtain at Owen Wilson's character in this, where yes, he has this front of being kind of sarcastic and jokey and almost casually carefree about everything, and then when we see him behind the scenes with like the time judge lady and all, he's much more serious. You get the feeling that there's more going on there.
Yeah, it's like a means to an end kind of thing.
He is almost Loki like himself in some ways, which is interesting. I like when you get those brief moments where he kind of drops the facade even with Loki and just is kind of annoyed at him. The main crux of this episode is they're trying to figure out where this Loki that has been killing people across time is hiding, because they can't find him. They find them after they screw with a timeline, and then they erase that timeline with their time bombs, but they can't find where that Loki actually is in real time. And Loki actually kind of devotes himself to figuring it out because he has something to prove. And he figures out that what this Loki is doing is they're hiding in apocalypse scenarios, because during an apocalypse, that Loki can do whatever they want and everything's going to end anyway. So there's no change to the timeline. They test that out by going to Pompeii as the volcano is exploding. And we just kind of alluded to it. We have this great scene where Loki releases a bunch of goats and just starts telling everyone that he's Loki. He's from the future. They're all about to die.
Kinda.
Just says a bunch of crap in Greek, which is fantastic.
Latin, right?
Latin? Was it Latin or was it
Latin,
Greek?
it'd be
Because
Pompey's
Pompeii
Italy,
was
so
in
it'd be
Greece, wasn't it? Or was it in
Yep.
Rome?
Italy.
No, Pompey's in Greece.
Italy?
Okay.
Pompey's Italy?
And then the volcano explodes, and
Memphis-
Owen Wilson's
Memphis.
like, "Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
It's
good.
Latin.
I'm not good at European geography or history, for that matter. I don't really know anything. I'm completely uneducated. Anyways,
He's a
we
great
know-
actor, basically.
Yeah, big actor. we know that Loki speaks Latin now, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Those things,
I mean, of
yeah,
course he
should
does.
be.
He's a god. He
I
can
forgot.
probably speak whatever language he
Yeah.
wants. Which is funny because there's that intro scene in the desert from the first episode where he's speaking. I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to question it. Comedy, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Suspension of disbelief. But then Owen Wilson's like, well, I'll be damned. There's no time variance. And so they start pouring through apocalypse events and figure out that there is a hurricane in Oklahoma or
2050
something?
Yeah.
To 2040, and it's what state is it in? Oklahoma. It's some podunk nowhere state. No
It's
offense to anyone.
The
who lives there.
tornado state, I guess you could put one of those ones.
And so they go to a department store during that hurricane, and they start trying to hunt this Loki. And
I love this scene, but I was a wee bit disappointed that we didn't get more futuristic stereos and like futuristic tech.
I'll be
Is
honest.
that just me?
I think I get what you mean, but at the same time, I'm like, technology's probably not going to advance that much.
I think they're aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't know. Like,
we're only here's the thing: we're only talking about
Holograms.
2040. It's 2021.
Yeah.
Yes, we have touchscreens and smartphones and stuff, but when it comes to the actual visual aesthetic, like how far along are we from 2001? 20 years, you're probably not going to see stuff that different.
A fair amount. when you
There
look
was
at
a
phones
there was a
in 2001.
hologram outside.
Yeah, I guess.
It was a
I don't know.
hologram,
I thought that's how it was going. I was like, oh, we're getting to like.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was 2050, but however long it was,
It
I
might
was like,
be,
oh, we're gonna get like something here, and then it's just like
This-
a normal tech shop. Like a
This
Currys or
is
a
the
Kingsford.
first time we've
Oh,
seen
okay.
the future in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Another thing
Um,
is as well to note. I actually we'll probably talk about it is obviously when they get in there, and Loki encounters, spoilers, female Loki, or well, she doesn't like to be called female Loki.
well,
but-
let's take it through the steps here. So Loki gets split off with the hunter, the time hunter that hates him, the lady, and they run across an alleged shopper who is like hurricane sale, and apparently this Loki has the power to possess people by touching them.
Mhm.
So Shopper touches Hunter Lady. She becomes possessed by Loki. They have a little tete-a-tete. This Loki does not like being called Loki,
Yep.
which is interesting. Then that Loki takes over another person who's like this hick guy. This Loki has set those time bomb charges throughout the store on all the shelves.
It looks as well as it's not like it's they can continue to do stuff while they're possessing someone else.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Which was
that
quite an
seems to be the
interesting thing.
case.
Yeah. And I thought about it as well as at the start of the episode they talk about Loki's power set.
Yeah,
And he makes the distinction between duplication and illusion magic.
right.
And I don't know if that's just me like picking up.
Well,
on
and it's
something. Yeah.
it's
like
definitely. I think they allude to the fact that different Lokis do have different powers.
yeah.
We also earlier in the episode we see holograms of a bunch of different kinds of Lokis, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's really good.
It'd be cool if we get to see more different Lokis throughout the series. But
Lycra bicycle Loki.
Goblet or Hulk Loki or something like that. Viking Loki, like there's a bunch of different ones, and they're not all Tom Hiddleston. A couple of them are, but some of them might be Tom Hiddleston prosthetics. It's hard to tell with the Viking one. They might have just put him in the beard. But finally Loki reveals herself, and it is female Loki, and just like the comics, she's got the headband with the one horn broken off. She's blonde, which is different. And it turns out the time bombs, at first they thought it was to wipe out this timeline and to blow them all up. Nope. She transports them all to different timelines and bombs the sacred timeline, and we see all these off splits starting.
Oh man, it was
And
so good. I love it.
Then she opens a portal, and leaves, which she apparently has access. Well, of course, she has access to the timekeeper technology. She's been killing them. She knows where the time masters are, apparently, because she kidnapped a time hunter earlier and tortured her. I expect, probably mentally tortured her. And Loki, they Owen Wilson, everyone else finds Loki. Luckily, they didn't do the thing I thought they would, where they'd be like, "Oh, Loki, you did this." Like they,
revealed.
Right, like falling for thinking that this was all in his plan. No, they realize that he's not the one that did it, and they're like, "Wait, no!" And then he follows her through. Whether that's to join her or hunt her, we don't know.
Or just escape.
But this leaves, or just escape. But this leaves us in an interesting place. What's the effect this is going to have on the multiverse? We're going to see more of Loki versus Loki. I mean, I'm intrigued with where we're going.
Oh yeah, I think shit's about to get real.
And it's so annoying that it is, and it's going to be great because I just don't have the mental capacity for it.
I have the mental capacity for the Marvel shows. I've not been following any of Disney's Star Wars stuff because there's just so goddamn much of it, and I can't.
Oh, the Clone Wars stuff, you mean?
Yeah.
Mandalorian, Clone Wars. There's gonna be a Boba Fett show. There's gonna be an Andor Cassian show. There's gonna be an Obi-Wan show. There's gonna be calm down. I can't. At least Marvel's like, all right, we're doing this show. We're finishing. Doing this show. We're finishing.
But speaking of which, there was photos taken of somewhere near Oban that went up on the website the other day, showing behind-the-scenes photos from a new Star Wars show.
Hopefully,
one. We got some sick behind-the-scenes shots of the Obi-Wan show. So go check that out. Go peep that shit, baby.
Has anyone ripped it down yet?
Huh? Nah,
has anyone ripped the photos yet? I wonder. I would say the same. Maybe we'll see them.
Hollywood really loves Scotland, don't they?
Yeah.
It's cheap to film here, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, there's no I think there's
and it's nice.
And you guys got grassy hills and stuff.
Yeah.
There's specific stuff to do with, I believe it's like
sandy hills,
filming laws and stuff.
Water.
I think you get a tax break as well.
Yeah, it's like SAG or something like that, or who knows.
Is it you guys or Ireland that have the cool hexagonal rock formations?
That's Ireland.
That's Giant's Causeway. Yeah.
All right. Well, Ireland is now cooler than you guys. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Irish, man.
Oh,
agreed.
I love the Irish.
Well, you're both better than the Brits, so.
One big takeaway I had from this the scene where Loki's trying to find files, so he goes to the kind of receptionist. He's typing away.
Yeah.
So I had a quick look at what she was typing on the screen, and I couldn't get all of it, but it looked interesting. Does the name Mary Wilson mean anything to anyone?
Nope.
No. Well, this is what I seen on the screen. I didn't get all of it. I maybe missed the most crucial word, but still. So what she was typing on the screen was Mary Wilson, female 25, touched the Tesseract and opened a wormhole to God something Omega.
Oh no.
Yeah. What does this mean?
There's a Wikipedia page for them, I believe.
Oh, Ian, you've gone green.
You going green again?
Oh no, it's happening. I have touched the Tesseract.
Oh no.
Hello, I'm here.
Hello.
You're back.
You're not Ian. You're some other multiverse Ian.
It's me.
I can prove it. I'm tired.
Would anyone else be this tired recording a podcast? I think not.
There is a Mary Wilson who is in Earth 616 in Marvel. However, I don't believe they're just it's like a side character. Who
could be something totally new.
Single issue.
From what I looked into, it looked like it had something to do with Celestials. Again, a lot of that is lost on me because I'm kind of new to the comics. But just I spotted the word Tesseract and wormhole, and I was like, that's something important.
Yeah.
Good
catch. I think
there's a
Mary Wilson.
In the original Human Torch comics back in like the 50s.
Yeah. That'd be cool if we got Marvels eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting Namor, like the only one missing at this. Well, they're probably not going to bring Chris Evans back as Steve Rogers, but the only thing we're missing at this point is old school Human Torch.
Oh, imagine
Android Human Torch. Yeah, I like this episode. It was fun. I laughed multiple times. I think.
Yeah.
We're really I think that when all is said and done, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't think fit as well into the whole multiverse thing. It's more of a character study, but I think WandaVision, Loki, Multiverse of Madness, and No Way Home, I think there'll be a nice through line to kind of watch through to see the whole multiverse start to collapse. I think it'll be fun.
I think the Marvel Universe is just going to get that little bit bigger.
Yeah, I think a couple years down the line, we'll rewatch them and be like, yeah, all right, I see what they were doing.
Yep. After the 8th billionth SpiderMan.
Yeah, in 2022, we'll come back and do a recap and be like, oh, okay. Because we're definitely still going to be doing this podcast in a year and a half.
Oh, who knows?
So have you guys been watching, reading, reviewing anything else?
Yeah.
So I've been. I say me and Ben have both had the similar thing. You go first, Ben. But it's like, both doing reviews for heavy metal and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been working through Savage Circus right now. It's his 4-issue series. It started off really good. Second issue went nuts, like total invincible levels of gore. Third issue, I kind of dropped the ball, but show must go on, and we'll see what happens in the finale.
Anytime someone starts off with "it started out really good," that's you immediately know, like, oh well, that means it did not continue, or else you would just say it's really good.
Really good.
Started off really good. Anyway,
I reviewed for the site. I reviewed Supernaut, which is a series that originally came out in 2016, but was then kind of under the Virus imprint for heavy metal. But then I think it was like republished kind of in 2020 and stuff like that as a full collected thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a crazy story. It's great. Like it's hard to, the way it's basically, I always kind of portray it, and they mention this throughout. It's the holy scripture of Hinduism. It's Bhagavad Gita is the name of it, which is this big story about the whole idea of the gods, the avatars of Vishnu and stuff like that. It's about epic adventure that happens, as most holy scripts do. But then it also combines it with multiversal kind of threat and events and stuff like that. Speaking of the multiverse. And it's this like one character who basically becomes a superpowered, almost multiversal traversing god character called the Supernaut. And it's crazy, it's good, it's interesting. It follows the kind of trope of hunting around for these ancient artifacts to stop a god from assassinating the universe. And yeah, it's can be complicated sometimes, and sometimes feels like you're out of your depth when you're reading it. But at the end of the day,
I like a little complexity.
Yeah.
It's a really fun story, and it ends quite the way, like, it ends in an epic thing, but at the same time it's also not very epic, but also epic at the same time. It's nice, it's good, and it's
maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. We're confident.
It actually got a post on the heavy metal Instagram page.
Yeah,
they linked the review, which was quite fun. I think it's that post has seen over 700 people liking the Instagram post, so hopefully that's garnered some reviews towards the website a little bit.
I reviewed A Quiet Place 2 for the website, so
I'm seeing it on Saturday.
You like? I still haven't seen that. I think we talked about that last week, right?
Yep.
I hadn't wrote my review then, though. But yeah, just my review is an expanded version of my thoughts on last week's episode. But yeah, it was good.
I still need to see that.
Other than that, Handmaid's Tale season 4 had its season finale the other night, and I don't know if you guys watch it. It was incredible. What an incredible show! I'm
going to wait until it's done and then go through it all.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, I think we've got one more season. I think they're doing 5 seasons. It's heavy. I mean, the subject matter and the content is hard to stomach for some people. But the acting, the writing, the cinematography, it's I think it's the best show on TV at the minute. And that season finale was, it was so satisfying. I won't say what happened, but so satisfying, man.
I have had and continue to have no interest in that show over the past 4 years because I live in America.
Yeah. I guess it's a bit more far removed for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been busy, but I bought the annotated version of Watchmen. That's
you said, yeah.
Freaking tome. I haven't really dug into it yet because I've been busy, but I'm looking forward to it. Like, just on the cover, there's like 3 paragraphs of crap of analysis, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm into this. This is great.
So is that
this is
annotated by the authors,
Well,
scholars?
Well, I know that when Alan Moore sends his work to an artist to do the panels, he writes like screeds and screeds for one frame, right?
Yeah.
So is it that idea? I take it. Like,
no, it's let me see here. It's annotated by a specific person. Leslie Klinger is the person who writes all the annotations, but they're very in depth, analyzing the art, analyzing the writing. And as someone who I bought it because I own a lot of different pieces of Watchmen media, good and bad. I have all the before Watchmen books. I have a hardback version of Watchmen. I have Absolute Watchmen. Now I have this. I have the Watchmen tabletop RPG guidebook that means nothing to me functionally, but it's cool to have it. So I was like, yeah, I wanted that for a while. And there was one copy just sitting on the shelf at my local comic book shop, and I was like,
you got it. Yeah, you got it.
So I bought it and shoved it in my backpack and biked home with it, and I have yet to crack it open, but I'll let you guys know how I feel about that once I actually have time to read a little bit of it.
Yes.
I read Miles Morales, Spider-Man 27, because I'm following stupid Miles Morales' Clone Saga.
Well, how's the update on that one? Because I remember you talked about it a few weeks ago. How's that going?
So far it's pretty cloney. These Miles clones, some dude made them. They're just trying to survive. They were all tortured and shit. And then Miles found their warehouse and destroyed all their stuff. But it turns out that was the stuff they needed to not deteriorate like clones do. And so now they think that Miles is trying to kill them. And the most recent cliffhanger is that the clone that looks most like Miles showed up at his house and stole his baby sister. So,
oh god, yeah.
Nice.
It's a clone saga so far. One of the clones will maybe help Miles, the one that's all gross and goopy that can't talk. And then there's the weird 6-legged one that's scary that also doesn't talk. I don't know, man. Who thought this was a good idea? It's
clearly the same guy commissioned the 3 previous or 4 previous ones that happened.
Bendis Clone Saga was good.
Yeah, I mean, the newer one as well that brought back Ben Reilly was quite interesting.
Clone Conspiracy was...
alright.
It existed.
It was fine.
It was...
You know,
I guess if you're just going to decide to make Ben Reilly a fucking bad guy, sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you read that his solo series that got cancelled was really fun when he went to Las Vegas.
Yeah. I liked when Kane had a solo Scarlet Spider series. That was good. When he was in Texas, I think.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? We have a website. It's www.bigglasgowcomicpage.com, where we have reviews, interviews, and more podcasts, and also more reviews, and sometimes other stuff. If you live in Scotland, there's actual marts with merchandise and things that you can go to on the weekends. Check the Facebook page to find out where those are. Now that pandemic restrictions are easing a bit.
I think it's been announced as well that we'll be having our first Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
October.
I won't be attending any of these because I live like 17,000 miles away or something like that.
That's no excuse.
And I'm a flight risk right now, so whatever.
Oh no, not another one.
So check that out. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram as BGCP Comic Con. Tell us a word, say a thing to us. Next week we're gonna be doing like a battle royale thing, like comic book characters versus other comic book characters, Secret War style. So leave some comments of who you'd like to see in that fight, because I have no idea how we're gonna put those brackets together.
That'll be at least over the next 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, this is gonna be our multi-part event. Fuck you, Marvel.
We can do it better.
We can.
It's gonna be world ending.
How hard can it be?
guys,
Exactly.
I've loosened up on the F-bombs, and I feel better for it.
Have you?
I don't feel like advertisers care is the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if we would get any advertisers, it would be great.
We're never gonna get any advertisers,
Hey,
so
if
who
you
cares?
got
Hey, go ahead and like and
content-
subscribe to the YouTube page and like
If
the
you
videos and
do-
leave a review. And
And we might get some advertisers.
Yeah, if you have anyone
Maybe
that
someday.
wants to maybe sponsor this fledgling group of podcasters,
I
send them our way.
I enjoy doing this. I like to yell at the
Yeah.
microphone once a week. If
Yeah,
I slept more regularly, I'd be a bit more cogent and probably not
this
as
is how we like
irritating,
you.
but
This is how
whatever,
we
that's
like you.
fine.
That's how we like you.
Right,
Right,
it's just,
right on
this,
the turn of
this is who I am. If you don't like me at my sleepiest, you don't deserve me at my most not sleepiest. Anything else, you guys? Anything we need to plug? Massimo, you doing any interviews soon? What's the happy haps?
I believe the interviews are going to be taking a back seat for a little bit. They're going to be possibly more sporadic, but hopefully with some bigger names that we're hopefully going to pull out the pack. So if you
Daniel
want to,
Dwyer, hit us up.
stay tuned on all the BGCP different social medias. Stay tuned on the Spotify, on the YouTubes, all the or your podcasting platform of choice, and hopefully there'll be more high impact interviews coming your way.
I am
Something.
working on 2 written interviews. One currently with Chris Evenhouse. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name. It would be Evan.
Chris
Weed.
Evans'
It is if you
house.
say so.
I think it's Chris Evenhouse.
If you're Canadian, it's Chris Evan Hoos.
He
Did you
is
just
a
make that
Dutch.
joke?
He's a Dutch artist who has worked in both comics and video games, so that's pretty cool. And also Gordon Rennie, who again has worked in comics and video games. He's a writer. He wrote the script for Killzone and a few other video games in the past. So those 2 written interviews will be coming at some point. It kind of depends on how quickly the 2 guys get back to me and fire questions back and forward. So I can't really give you a time scale for when, but they will be happening.
I think I'll
I'd take a Killzone 2 remake.
written interview at some point, hopefully coming with Black Lightning curator Tony Isabella
Oh.
Nice.
as well. Hopefully, if I can actually, as you said, when I email, I might have to email them through.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Thank
You're
you.
the man on the street. You're Maximum Massimo. You're Martin Castillo.
You've got a beard.
I've got a beard. I'm a man with a beard in the street.
Martin Castillo. That was
Number
horrible.
1 of the interview circuit, Martin Castillo. That should just be your pen name.
Okay, I guess.
All right. Maximilian Castigliani.
Castellano.
Castellazagna.
Castellazagna.
Is that racist?
You'll be like,
yeah, who knows?
hasta un fuego.
Let us know in the
Hasta la
comments if that's
pasta,
racist.
baby.
I think we've been on for long enough.
Yeah,
So coming up next, Martin Castillo, lovely Daniel, and beautiful Benjamin give you their impressions of E3. I won't be joining because I need to take a nap, and I didn't have any predictions anyways. Aside, hey, Halo showed up. Like I said, from the Metroid was there, but not the Metroid I want. But it's the Metroid maybe I deserve. A watchful protector, a dark bounty hunter.
A 2D bounty hunter.
Where's I always forget to hang on. Where's the outro? There it is. It's gonna start right now. Here it comes. Are you ready? Wait for it. Wait for it.
Silence.
Wait for it.
There it is. You hear it? Yeah. Thank you for listening to Disassembled. You can find more news and reviews on BigGlasgowComicPage.com. And don't forget, you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as BGCP Comic Con. Make sure you also subscribe on your podcast provider of choice for new episodes every week.